Hey everyone, ELD here with a story that I was recently reminded of from back in the day. Now, upfront disclaimer, do not take this as a model of how to handle this situation. Thank goodness, spoiler alert, didn't result in any type of tragedy. It could have been very, very bad. Escalating situations is not generally the way to go. It's just what I'm wired to do. So sometimes you end up with a fun story because of it. And here we go. Scholars Games. The summer before Cons of Tarkir comes out, Dave, the owner of the store, gets a phone call asking if they buy Magic cards. Now, the store didn't really, but I actually ran Magic tournaments there and bought and sold cards. And that was our arrangement. I would run the tournaments and I would be able to buy and sell cards there. So this guy talks to Dave and then like calls back and calls back again. And the third time, he hands me the phone and the guy explains to me that he's got this collection that he had a box of cards, he bought a storage bin and it had a jet ski in it, and he's had these cards for months and months and he's just sick of looking at them. And I mean, it's very sus. I don't think the guy's going to come in. So I'm just like, yeah, I buy all cards all the time. But I mean, the guy definitely, sounded like he used some serious drugs. Not, not great. Okay. Amuses me to this day that in his criminal mind, it was a really important detail that he's the type of person that owns a jet ski. Like, that just warms my heart. I'm very sure that he doesn't. And I'm very sure that these cards are not his because as I'm going through them, I come across this deck, which is a shardless bug deck. And I mean, this is, underground seas, tropical islands. You got your planeswalkers in there. Tarmogoyfs are huge at the time. However, in the bulk of everything, there is this pre-release card, which is only like a couple weeks old. He's saying he's had it for months. So this guy 100% is lying, almost certainly about the jet ski as well. And these cards have got to be stolen. So I'm looking through it, trying to figure out how to handle this situation. And the fact that there's a legacy deck in there, like, I do not want this guy to just walk out. I don't want to be like, I think these are stolen and then just have him leave. Like, that is not a good enough situation. This legacy deck would be like literally years of work for somebody to get up all the dual lands and everything. So as I'm looking through it all, trying to figure out like, can I somehow have Dave call the police? Like, he's got guys waiting in the car. Like, is this going to turn violent? Like, how am I going to handle this? Do I just tell him to just leave and hold his cards and tell him to call the police? Like, there's a lot of ways that this could go sideways. And I'm kind of inclined to escalate situations. So I'm trying to fight my nature, which would be just to take the cards and tell him to go pound sand. So I mean, it's really dicey. Let's just go with it is a dangerous situation. And he is so nervous at this point that he's like, you know what, $50 for everything. All right. I just take $50 out of my wallet and I give it to him because I'm like, this situation is getting solved. Like, whoever deck this is, like, I'm going to be able to find them and they're going to be absolutely thrilled. And you know what? Like, they're probably going to give me the $50 anyways. Even if they don't, who cares? Like, just pay it forward. Like, this is a huge, huge deal. Like, this is thousands and thousands of dollars. And when someone loses a deck like that, if they don't get it back, they're probably just quitting Magic forever too. I mean, it is psychologically very, very harmful to people to be a victim of that type of theft. So the guy takes the $50, he walks outside. I have this huge adrenaline dump because I'm like literally ready to fight the guy. And thank goodness he came up with the $50. So I put online, hey, is anybody missing a legacy deck? Immediately, Micah gets in touch with me. Like, oh my gosh, like, Nick is missing a deck. Like, what is it? I message Nick. I'm like, hey, what are you missing? He sends me a deck list that is exactly what's in the box. I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. In the time that happens, the guy walks back into the store. He is making himself big. He is pissed. And he goes over to me and he's like, hey, I just talked to my friend in the car and he said that's worth a lot more money. And I am in my head thinking about how to tell this guy to F off, that the deal is done. And he said it's worth at least $100, which was the best thing that he could have said. Because at that point, I just crack up. I just think it's absolutely hilarious that these complete morons have stolen this stuff, brought it here. They got their $50. Good on them. If I was going to do it again, I'd definitely get their ID and make sure that this gets taken care of properly. This was just me on the fly, never having been in this type of situation before. But I just laugh at the guy and I say, the deal's done, kid. Get lost. And he is furious. He stomps out. Apparently, I was willing to get stabbed over the extra $50 at that point too, which is also crazy. But he leaves steaming. And the next day, I'm able to get the collection back to Nick. He actually did. He actually kicked me some money for it and everything. I told him he didn't need to. He insisted. He was like so thrilled to actually get the thing back, and it ended up being a happy ending. Luckily, I didn't get stabbed. No craziness happened outside of that. Never saw those guys again. But that is how that one went. So, I don't think the guy actually had a jet ski, but Nick did in the end get his cards back, which is all I really cared about. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I was reminded of it the other day and thought, let's put this online for the next generation.